welcome back to For the Love of Men podcast. My name is Courtney Shand, and I'm hosting with my dear friend, Brianna Mosier.
Hi.
The intention of the show is to bring together men and women to create healthy, polarized relationship dynamics by learning how to honor each other's natural masculine and feminine energetic core. As always, I'm excited for this content today.
Mm-hmm.
We're both like
buzzing.
Yeah, chomping at the bit. But before we dive in, I want to introduce you to myself and Bree so that we can get straight to it. Bree, tell my friends who you are
and what I do.
What you do.
Classic.
Like
the intro
before.
never changes.
It's like we've done this before. But some people are new. So I want you to get to know Bree because she's cool.
Thank you.
She's pretty great.
My work in the world is supporting really high achieving, independent, successful women in embodying their feminine energy and opening up to receive more and more empowered, healthy masculine partners and learn to date in really empowered, feminine, drama-free ways that draw in the right people for you. Part of my background is also in pleasure, sex, love, and intimacy work. So I love supporting women in exploring and expanding their pleasure and their body and coming alive inside their body. I really believe that's a big part of being in your divine feminine energy. That is my work in the world. Courtney.
Yes.
What's your work in the world?
I have lots of things that I love to do, but I am really excited to be moving into men's coaching because I just feel so strongly that the work that I have been doing with women is needing to be translated so that the men can step up and win with these women. They're here, they're ready for you, and there are just a few things that need to shift in order for you to step into that empowered masculine energy and start connecting with and engaging on that really empowered level. So I am really excited to be bringing this information to you from that lens.
Me too. We're like this in our work.
Yeah.
Really quickly, is my microphone on?
I was literally going to check mine too. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check. Will you check mine? Because I don't know how it works.
You're green.
Okay, great. It's for the YouTubers.
Yeah,
we wanted to make sure.
We keep getting feedback that we can't be heard, so we want to make sure we're doing it correctly for you guys. We're trying our best.
We're trying.
Thanks for the feedback, as always. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about follow-up from last week. Last week was how to ask a woman out in an empowered masculine way.
Yes, juicy.
If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen. This one is what to do in that interim time. So you asked her out. She's like, wow, this EM energy is coming towards me and I feel so juicy and alive. Of course, I want to go on a date with you.
Of course.
And you're like, okay, now what do I do?
Don't fumble the bag.
Yeah, we do not want you fumbling this bag. Here's what you do.
You listen to this episode and share it with all your friends, first of all. Then you go on Apple and Spotify podcasts and you rate our show 5 stars.
So that it can find other men.
If that feels good to you, I mean. And then what you do is you don't sleep on pre-date. Pre-date is really make or break, honestly, from being a woman, from having so many girlfriends who are dating and talking about it and working with hundreds of women. This is a vulnerable spot for a lot of women, and you can create an environment where she feels like she can lean on you, she can trust you, she's relaxed. And remember that if you're able to provide that environment for her, not only are you going to bring out the best in the feminine, but she's always associating how I feel in my body in connection with him is positive. I feel regulated, I feel seen, I feel noticed, I feel cared for, I feel supported. The more that you create environments and circumstances where she feels that, the more juicy feminine energy you get, the more that she's going to be leaning into her connection with you, because empowered feminine women want to feel, and typically they know how they feel on their own that way. So that's their baseline of like, I am happy and regulated alone. So someone has to meet me there or supersede it for me to be interested in dating. The pre-date and the post-date, there are great moments to help you bring that out. Obviously, our focus today is pre-date. What's the number one rule at pre-date? You set the date, she's excited, and then
you literally all you have to do is nurture the connection. The spark is there. You just can't let it fizzle. And you're not going to be like overly fanning it. That's not necessary. Just an occasional, like check on it, make sure it's still there. Little One of those,
Mhm.
that's plenty, but you do not want to let this spark die. It's tender at this point. And I think that's a really great analogy because I think men will understand what I'm trying to communicate here. This is really going to, honestly, I think pre-date and post-date are more important than how you ask her out.
Yeah.
She's already said yes. Of course she wants to go on a date with you. She's at least interested in you. Let's get that like behind us. That's old news. The pre-date and how you show up energetically is what's setting the tone for where you want this date to go. You are leading her in a very empowered masculine way. And this is what empowered feminine women are looking for is, can he step in and lead me? And it's an energy thing. It's not about behaviors. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, the rules-based, there's a rules-based version and then a like gut level version of everything. We always talk about energy is more important than the strategy. And this is where I think the energy is so critical, because if you can think about, I just get to nurture this little energy, this little spark between us. I don't know where it's going to go. It may be this blazing fire and it may fizzle out after the date. We don't know, but that's okay. All you have to do is just make sure that this little spark is staying alive between your asking and going on the date.
Totally.
This is where men will fumble more often than I would like to say. And it's so resolvable. That's why I want to point this out, because this is so resolvable and will set you head and shoulders above as a potential partner. Because for me, if I'm interested in someone and I accept their invitation to go out, and then I don't hear from them for like a week, I've moved on. I'm like, I've got plenty of things in my life that require my attention that are like commitments. I got fun things I want to be doing with my time. I've got friends that are reliable that I know, like, hey, I'm not going to bail on them. They never bail on me. So if you're already kind of like waffling and flaky, it's not that it makes her like mad. It just, she's going to lose interest because it's not going to be like worth marking that time in my calendar kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, the time really, to me, the plan becomes almost unsolidified with no follow-up.
Yeah.
And I will say pretty much across the board from all the women I have worked with and know and love, this is the general consensus, at least in my world. Would you agree?
Yes.
It's like if Courtney's telling me, hey, they set a date and then it's 4 days from now, but I haven't heard from him, we're both going, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Is it still going to happen? I don't know if it's still going to happen. Should I plan on it? It becomes this like interim wobbliness when it's so easily solved. If you want your rule, then your rule is 2 days or a day, but I would say 2 days before. Make sure you're following up. Hey, really looking forward to seeing you on Thursday or Friday, whatever day of the week it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the evening, you need to start solidifying the plan. So if you ask her out like even a week ahead of time, it's not that there's too much time in between. It's too much spaciousness in between that's going to allow the spark to go out. You want to be able to have that like, you need to be solidifying the plan as it gets closer, because it will feel to her like you are creating almost anxiety feeling in your presence, because I don't know where to put my foot. I don't know if I can like step in towards you or if I need to like stay on my own 2 feet. And what we want when we're creating polarity is for her to be able to sense on a visceral level that if she is leaning towards you, that she's not going to just like fall over. You're sturdy enough to like hold her there, and she can balance on 1 foot. She can dance. She can do whatever she wants. That's when the feminine is going to come to life. She's going to be able to animate when she has more movement, because you are not going anywhere. So energetically, you're just showing up and you continue to show up. That is the energy that you need between asking the date and taking her on the date.
She's the ocean and you are the sand. You're just there all the time. Steady. There.
Well, that's funny. I always say
the opposite.
Yeah.
I always describe it as the feminine is like flowing and she's happy and she's chaotic and then she's still. And always the masculine is just literally the ground.
Catching her.
Grounded.
Yes.
But what you're saying, to translate the energy piece into strategy, all we need you to remember, the important part is 2 days before the date, following up with looking forward to see you. If it's a week in between, I would say every other day.
Yeah.
Send a message if you're not already somebody who is doing this, right?
Yes.
But that's really gonna, like Courtney is saying, stabilize the connection and help her see, oh, she's interested. Remember, with the feminine, safety is what causes the feminine to open more and more and more. Real safety, by the way. Can't phone it in. The feminine always, truly, always feels it when it's not real safety, even if she tries to lie to herself about it.
And she probably will.
But it always eventually comes out. So, creating that genuine safety, that's what we feel when there's the follow-up text, or the I'm excited to see you, or I've been thinking about, blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to see you dressed up, whatever it might be. It's like, oh, your energy is coming toward me, so I can keep leaning back. I can keep relaxing. I can keep trusting. The opposite experience when you don't follow up is the feeling dropped, questioning the plan. I don't really like this. Maybe I don't want to date him because I feel kind of dropped and I don't want to feel dropped. If it starts to feel like drama and I'm an empowered feminine woman, well, I'm not interested in drama, like even a little bit, unless it's on reality TV, then I love to watch it. But in my own fellow connections, I'm not interested. So that's what she's going through in her head.
Yeah.
Just remember the follow-up period.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I say she's probably going to think that, there will be a moment where she turns in on herself. Like, maybe I should be...
Should I reach out to him?
Maybe I should be checking in because I'm feeling unstable. That's what, if she's reaching out to you, she is in her masculine energy and needing to stabilize herself. In which case, that is a symptom that this bag is about to be dropped.
Yes, because...
And not a problem. Just pick it back up. If she's having to reach out to you like, hey, are we meeting tomorrow? Hey, she's trying to plan her life in a way that feels really good for her. And it's not that she's disinterested in going out with you. It's just, do I need to keep, like, how firm is this plan? We always talk about firm plans versus loose plans. There's nothing worse than me thinking it's a loose plan and you think it's a firm plan. Like 9:00, I'm showing up at 9:00. If it's a firm plan, I'm there at 9:00. Yeah. If it's a loose plan, 9:00, it's like 9:15, 9:30. We'll see how we feel. Hey, I'm running late. Hey, my hair's not working today. Very different energies. These two people cannot be happy linked together without communicating which one we're talking about.
Agreed.
And it's easily solved.
The reason women love plans so much is because of the safety it creates in our body and the predictability. Predictability creates that feeling of safety. I can relax. I know what's going to happen. So when men are very go with the flow, oh, we'll see, or we set the date, it's no big deal. Well, she's still trying to see, is this always stable ground? Is it sometimes stable ground? Because I want to feel like I can count on you when you give me your word. And she is thinking about it like that. You gave me your word. Can I trust you? Do you keep your word? From the jump, women who are caring about integrity are looking for this as a quality of how trustable, how empowered masculine are you? So when you make a plan and you follow up and you stick to the plan, points. Safety, safety, safety. Nervous system regulates. I feel good when I'm with him. Maybe I want to spend more time with him. Maybe I want to express more around him. Wow, he makes me feel really comfortable. Off to the races. It's not hard. Plans create safety, creates room for play and feminine expression. The best of the feminine.
Yeah. And I would think that as a man, if you are not someone that is, because I'm just trying to think, like with my clients who are very conscientious men, you are not wanting to overstep and like control her schedule. And I really get that sense that may be the motivation as to why you're not saying, hey, like 7:00 on Thursday, I would love to see you. Does that feel good for you? That's all you would have to say, just script it wise. But I think the reason that they're not doing that is because they want to leave that open, thinking the feminine loves fluidity and space.
Yeah.
She does not. She is the fluidity and space. She does not want that from you. She needs some containment.
She craves the containment.
She already has fluidity.
That's so brilliantly said.
Thank you.
She is the fluidity in the space.
Yes.
She doesn't want you to bring the flow. She brings the flow.
Yes.
You guys,
you are the riverbanks. You guide where that water is flowing. You don't guide the pace at which it's flowing, the volume of which it's flowing. You just hold it and it will flow.
I'm really having to hold myself back here.
I know. I really am like teeing you up to just, yeah. Okay.
Are we all thinking the same thing about that? Because
good. It's landing. It's landing.
It registered.
I'm just saying. Okay. Nurture the energy. guys, nurture the energy. And then just wow, we just covered a lot of those actually. I'm just looking at our little list here. Yeah, stay connected. After you've asked for the date, just stay connected. Let it be fun. I think the reason that guys don't have fun in dating is because they either put too much pressure on following all the rules, or, which is a sign that we need to integrate some of that confidence so that you have the knowledge of what you're trying to accomplish, and then you get to kind of like play with it and add your own flavor. But if you are thinking about, this is someone that I want to get to know, let it be fun getting to know them. That is the point. The point is to get to know her. And you can do that just by asking to give a fuck. Ask a follow-up question. FUQ. Remember, FUQs. Give lots of them. Follow-up questions. Like we said last week, hey, are you someone that wants to do a phone date? You want me to just like, let's meet in person? You're getting to know her. All of those types of questions are giving you this picture of who she is. And I always like to describe it as like, if you're holding this rock in your hand, you just have to like study it from all the angles. That's all that needs to happen this early stage of dating. We're not like thinking long term. We get in these limerence bubbles where we're like planning too far ahead and we get anxious. We really get ahead of ourselves and our body starts to dysregulate. And then we end up feeling awkward and then things go sideways. I promise all you have to do is just observe what is happening and study it. If this was your like project to learn and study this rock that you're holding in your hand, this beautiful gem, what do you notice? Reflect that back to her, and I promise these follow-up questions will just start to come naturally.
Here's the rock they're studying.
Yes.
And you're a man studying it.
Yes.
How do you look at her eyes and her presence? If you're on YouTube, when I said that to her, she went, yes. Like she totally, first of all, the rock's not even there and she gave me her presents, okay? So
it's beautiful.
We're in full on giggle mode today. Okay, so you're studying the rock and you're a man. How do you reflect back to a woman what's happening? Can you give some examples? This is the many rocks to put here.
That's perfect. Okay. Let me think about this. So if I were studying someone, because this is something that I just
can I tee you up a little bit while you process?
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is what you mean. She says, yeah, I love going to the beach. I feel so relaxed when I'm there. It makes me so happy. It's one of my happy places. If you're a man studying the rock, you might say something like, you might even ask, is it that you like being outdoors, or is the beach significant to you somehow? You're just observing it and getting curious. That's a perfect follow-up question because she feels seen, you listened, you're interested, and you're curious.
Yes. And you're collecting data, like whether she's aware of it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, you're collecting data on what feels relaxing to her.
Yes.
That is the purpose of studying her, and go back to the episodes on setting up a dating profile. We talked about this of you want to understand where her element is. What is it that makes it so relaxing for you? Is it the sun? Is it being outside? Is it the sand? Is it a memory you have of going to the beach? I want to understand what this is for you, because then I can take that piece and recreate it and bring out that version of you, and it is going to surprise you, gentlemen. That is going to be pro tips. Best version of her, I promise you.
These are excellent skills.
Yeah.
This is like regular relationship skills. We're talking, it's like an up here. You want to blow someone away with your attunement?
Yeah.
Report back, gentlemen. Please, I need to know if you do this.
Yes.
What happens?
Yes. Because you get to actually just reflect back what you're hearing. And women can do this too. I tell women to do this all the time. You're literally just taking in what he is revealing. And I think for men, this is so helpful because in person, it's a little harder when you are texting. In person, women, the more in her feminine she is, the more animated she is. She's going to be wearing her internal experience on her body. The way her shoulders are they like slumped forward? Is she sad? Is she feeling confident? Is she like wild and animated? Is her face lit up? Is she like feeling really blank? All of these things, as you're just kind of studying her, just taking her in, letting her impact you, you will start to interpret what she is communicating. I think this is the beauty of the feminine. If men can understand this skill set of how to hear without words what the woman is communicating with her body, this is what I love about dance, because I've been dancing, and this is what I see play out in dance, is men who can respond to the way a body is moving in a way that continues the movement for her and allows it to be amplified. She looks awesome, like $1,000,000. She feels great. She's like, oh, I can express even more, which then we're moving into breeze territory. You want to be moving into breeze territory.
You know what that means. The whole riverbank water situation, that's what Courtney meant. Go on.
Thank you. And then you are also the one that's kind of like guiding it. You are both participating in this, in an exchange. It's like this fun, like give and take. It's not this awkward, clunky, like, it gets to be really fun and playful at that point, because you can let loose. You kind of have a general idea of what you're creating together. And then you can both express a little more. Maybe I want to be a little bit bolder. Maybe I want to really like have her go over here. Or maybe I want to create this experience and see how she lights up. You're just responding to what she's revealing in any moment. And you only get this moment. I think that's what also takes a lot of pressure off for men in this particular dating period, is you only have this moment to work with. What can I be like observing and reflecting in this particular moment?
Love it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, can you imagine?
10 out of 10.
Yeah, agreed.
So just to reiterate some of the things we want you to remember about this pre-date phase. Nurture the energy. Corresponds to a text every other day or even 2 days before, leading up, letting her know it's still on, whatever it might be. And then study the rock, which is just your attunement and reflection. It's asking follow-up questions. It's noticing what's important to her. And your A++ skill is keeping that attunement. And as you're studying this rock, this gem, if you want to keep seeing her, thinking about what is important to her, what does she like, and creating more space for that. Remember that you are helping her stay regulated and calm by being consistent, by continually coming forward with that energy, which keeps her out of her masculine energy. If she doesn't have to come forward and she feels safe, she's going to stay in that feminine, and you're going to get the best of that feminine energy from her. If she starts to come forward, now she's in her masculine, you're getting a different side. Not a bad thing, but you're going to get a different expression. You have a lot of influence and power over the dynamic, because I tell you right now, the women are willing. They're so willing. They're unbelievably willing. It's overwhelming. And I work with women in dating every day. It's overwhelming how willing and happy and thrilled they would be to be in their feminine, but they're always asking, I need him to be a little bit more like this. And listen, I help women with staying in their feminine regardless. So it's never like a putting it on the men thing. It's not like that. It's you being that consistent riverbank for her. Sets you both up to win together, especially if she's a woman who's done her work. One more thing I want to add to this. I know we're going to wrap up soon here. If you are enjoying the date on date number 1 and you want to see her again, asking for date number 2, using the skills of attunement. You studied the rock. You figured out the rock likes XYZ. We need a different term than rock.
I know.
The crystal.
The gem.
The gem. The diamond.
The diamond of the
diamond,
season.
The ruby, right? Whatever. The diamond of the season. You've studied the diamond of the season. You've collected information, data about what makes her happy, and then putting that into a second date. I once had someone, we were talking about reality dating TV shows. And I was like, yeah, it's a guilty pleasure for me. Like, turns out I love doing dating work in my work. I just love it in general. It's like a sole purpose for me. I'm obsessed. He was like, I really love dating reality TV shows too. Maybe we need to do that on date number 2. And I remember thinking at the time, good attunement. Like, all right. I mean, too soon for an at-home date, but I like that you're listening and you're already letting me know that he was already letting me know he's interested in date number 2, which relaxed me even more.
Yes.
Because I felt there's a little part of a woman's brain. We don't always love it, but she wants everyone to like her.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to please you.
Mm-hmm.
Default setting, right? You can work on it and improve it. So there's a part of her that's like, if she's liking you, feeling vulnerable about that, as I know you are too when you date men.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask for the second date, that little part that's like, gee, I want him to like me, I want him to be interested, softens, and in its place, confidence. More feminine expression, because she feels more safe. She feels like, oh, he's still interested. I don't have to try. I don't have to be the perfect woman.
I don't have to prove anything. I just get to show who I am. And that is, at this stage of dating, you're just showing who you are. You're showing who you are. She's showing who she is. The more that you can be sturdy in your consistency of showing up, the more you will see her true, authentic self. And this is why it's so important, because you will find you'll save so much time not ending up with the wrong person if you can step into more of your empowered masculine energy and allow her to soften into her feminine energy. You will see very quickly, are our values aligned? Do I like this person as much? Do I want to continue this? Do I want to explore this gem of a person? She's beautiful and stunning, and she may not be a good fit for me. You'll find that out so much earlier if you can do these few little things pre-date that allow her to soften and show up as her empowered feminine self. She's stable. She's got herself. We're teaching that on the back end.
We've got you.
We've got you. These minor shifts are going to allow her to show up more authentically, and you will be able to see more clearly. And I know for men that is so important to you, is to be able to see things clearly before you
invest.
Before you keep running into the same problem. So I think it's really going to be helpful for you just to make these couple of little adjustments.
Love it.
I'm hitting my mic.
Really quickly, let's talk about just some don'ts.
Yes.
Some things we want to avoid. You get the main points on the do's. You do all those things, you're going to be in the safe zone. You'll probably be like in the home run, touchdown, whatever, end zone.
The not friend zone.
What matters is you're not in the friend zone. So that's good.
You will be standing out.
You will be standing
in the
out.
Zone.
Yes. Some don'ts. Don't predate. Drop off the face of the earth. I feel like we've already covered this. Don't just leave the communication. I've got the date in the bag. Check. I'm linearly thinking. It's done. We don't want to leave there. We need to stay in the connection. Mm-hmm. The other one, I feel like you'll be better at explaining this. Don't overcommit. Mm-hmm. Can you say more about what that means?
I would say in the pre-date phase, this is twofold for me. This is about time and about capacity. When you are thinking about showing up to the date, it requires a certain amount of time, space, and a certain amount of capacity to show up fully to that date. When you are like, yeah, I can pencil you in for a quick lunch date, and you're, like thinking about 5 other things after that, it's not going to create the environment that you want to get to know this person with. And so something that I see a lot of times with men overcommitting pre-date is usually either putting so much pressure on yourself for this to be the perfect date and win her over, which again is kind of like putting her on this pedestal. It's not, we want for both of you to be on the same pedestal. You're both kings and queens here. We're not even needing a pedestal. But when you're overcommitting, often it's going to ramp up your nervous system and your anxiety. And we want your nervous system to be calm and grounded, because that's going to calm her nervous system down too. And again, the calmer her nervous system, the more beautiful, radiant, gem-like qualities you are going to get out of this woman. And the more calm you are, the more clearly you will be able to observe and reflect and know what to do just instinctively, what will feel like it makes sense. But also will help you be able to see more clearly, more quickly, if this person is someone that you do have enough in common with to continue pursuing.
Love it.
Yeah. That makes sense?
Yep. Perfect sense. Lastly, don't overwhelm her energy pre-date. So if you're listening to this, we're speaking to the men who kind of are like, I've got the date in the books and that's good, check. But there's also another camp where sometimes people can be a little bit overwhelming. So it's like constant communication, constant touch points, or maybe you are FaceTiming or calling beforehand, whatever it might be, there's not I know this is going to be frustrating, but there's not a hard rule for communication pre-date. I know you want me to tell you this many times is the right answer. I get it. I want that sometimes too. But this skill is attunement. It's paying attention to how, when you do this, what happens? Does she also lean in, or is she pulling back? Is she giving one-word answers? Not interested? Is she engaged back? Practicing noticing that. How is she responding to my forward movement? Just like we were saying with dance, do not put pressure on yourself. This is a skill. Everyone learns it. I learn it all the time. With new people, you have to relearn it because you're relearning their cues.
This is the studying the gem.
This is studying the gem. Nobody knows anything about a new person yet. So you don't need to have this pressure on, like, I want to get it right. You only know what you can know right now about her. When in doubt, just ask. Years ago when I was dating, somebody had asked me, hey, so I'm somebody that, I think I've told this story on the show before. I'm somebody that really likes to text every day. I literally think he said, I don't want to overwhelm you. Like, what's the cadence that you like to communicate? Do you prefer to talk every day, or, what's your preference? I loved that question because it gave me space to reflect on, how much do I want to talk to you? Right? Because if it's too much, what's going to happen is it's like a fire hose. She's going to be like this. And now she's back in her masculine energy. You've gone beyond safety and now it's overwhelm. And she's like, wait. I need to hold the boundary. I need to protect myself because I'm getting overwhelmed. It's too much too soon. You're going to see her pulling back. Attunement is the skill. You can't be perfect at it yet. Ask when in doubt. How much communication feels good to you? Because I want you to know I'm interested, but I don't want to overwhelm you.
Talk about EM level question.
You would probably screenshot that text and send it to me if it was sent to you.
100% I would. And I would say, look at this EM.
Yes.
That's exactly, when we do text back and forth, we don't talk about guys, but unless we're just calling them out for saying like, dang, nailed it.
We always send that. Yes. We are always back and forth with this guy at the grocery store, this guy who did my tires. My dad said this. It was so cute. We are always celebrating men together.
My neighbor said this. What
my neighbor. Don't even get me started.
The guy at the park. This guy at the park. Like, EM. We have our own trending hashtag, I'm convinced.
When she does this, she means the hashtag EM. We used to say hashtag EM sighting.
I'm a millennial, guys.
Years ago. No, it's okay. Hashtags are still in. They do hashtags on Love Island. So it's still in, I think. Anyway, so attunement is a skill. There's not a hard rule. Ask when in doubt. Nothing wrong with asking. That's not getting it wrong.
Yes. Also, back to dance, something that every time I go dancing, I have analogies for relationships because it is just a visual representation of dancing. I mean, of dating. To me, I see the energetics playing out. But one thing, I was salsa dancing this last week, new to the salsa scene. Very vulnerable to me because I'm very new to that scene. But
used to the guacamole scene. Dad jokes. You're welcome.
Dad jokes.
She's salsa every
time. Okay. All right. So salsa dancing. And one thing about salsa dancing is that there is a lot of room for freestyle. You dance on your own. You kind of like add your own spiciness, whatever, and then you come back together. Same thing. Anyway, so you're kind of able to both dance by myself. I see you over there, and then we come back together. And the man is the one that is reconnecting. This is what I think is so beautiful about the representation of any of the dances that I'm learning is for the woman to train herself. The man will pick me back up. I get to just keep focusing on expressing whatever feels good in my body, however it wants to move, whatever I want to be doing with my body. He is the one whose job it is to come pick me back up and bring me back into the frame, the communication together. He's going to be the one reaching for my hand. He's going to be the one leading me over here and turning me this way. And the men that I speak to in the dance world, when they talk about it, I'm like, exciting.
They get it.
They get it because all of them say, if I can focus on making sure that she is looking like she's having a good time, I'm going to be tuning into her skill level. I'm not going to be asking this person who's obviously never done this before to be doing something super advanced. I'm meeting her where she's at because that's going to bring out the best in her. She's going to have fun and I'm going to have more fun because of it. That is always the sentiment. And I'm always like, this man gets it. That's it. That's it with dating too. You're literally focusing on, is her nervous system feeling calm and neutral, safe? Is she laughing? Is she, able to make jokes? Is she responding, and not feeling like glazed over? If she's kind of glazed over and like, you've lost it. That's not laughing like we're talking about. We're talking about genuine, like you can see her eyes, they're emoting, they're, warm. That is the reconnecting piece. Yeah. She can dance on her own for a couple beats, and then you come back together. That is the touch point of nurturing that energy. You can, do your own thing. You can focus on your job, your life, whatever. She's doing her life. Hopefully she's got this big, beautiful life, what we always talk about. That's your word, big, beautiful life.
Create your own big, beautiful life.
I love when you say that. And then you get to just kind of like come back together, and then you can go apart again. You can come back together. It is this like movement together, back and forth, that actually creates something really fun, intriguing, expressive, and it's communicating all through the connection point. The connection point is what lets you know, yep, we're coming back together. I'm going to let you go over there and do your own thing, and I'm going to be here. I'm going to pick you back up, bring you back over, and it will feel fluid.
Get you.
I'm going to come get you. The phrases women love to hear.
That's a new one.
Adding it to the list.
That's a new one.
I'm coming to get you.
That's a good one. Oh, this is so good. I love the dance analogies are working, because Courtney does salsa dance and then I do more hip hop heels, and we always come back with these. We get it together, like this body wisdom. It's been so good. What you just said of him going back to get her, that energy, that pursuing energy, you were saying it's his job to, yes, see what it does to the body? Because the first thing I said was the "I'm gonna come get you" phrase. That sparked it for her. She was like, "Yep."
Yeah, it's there.
And then when I said, "Then the man's gonna pursue. He's gonna come forward," she went, "Oh, it's happening." So that's the thing, is when you're reliable and you're pursuing, you literally just witnessed in her without her really being able to control it, honestly.
I can't hide it.
It just like erupted inside her. She was like, yep, that works for me. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I saw the funniest TikTok. There's a guy, what is his name? He is hilarious. He does videos for women on dating, and he's very just like, I don't know how to say, cheeky about it.
Okay.
He's like, I don't understand when men say things like, I don't do all of that chasing stuff when I'm dating. Like, I just don't chase women. He was like, then what do you do then? What are you doing? Do you want someone to chase you? It's your job to do the pursuing as the man. What are you talking about? And I was like, this is the thing. I would deliver it a little more gently.
Differently, yeah.
But it is that way. It's like, what do you mean not chasing her, right? So the word chasing implies that she's running away from you. So there's probably a better word there. Pursuing.
Mm-hmm. Moving towards.
We try to stay out of gender roles, but there is a realm where it's like, if you want to honor polarity, the masculine has to be the one moving forward and pursuing. Otherwise, you're going to flip-flop. She's going to feel like she needs to make that move to make contact with you. She's in her masculine, not in her juicy feminine, which is what you want anyway. Mm-hmm. Things start shifting. So you being that consistent pursuing, if she goes to dance on her own, you're going to be the one that's like, you look amazing, and now I'd like for you to dance with me for a little while.
Yes, that energy.
Right? And then when you're attuned to her and you can tell she wants to go fly free, letting her go fly free. Paying attention to when she's like, hey, wait a second. Where's my partner? Oh, there he is again. He's right there swooping her up. Again, this is an A+ skill, but I want to plant the seed with you so that you start thinking about the concept when you're on your dates, because it is going to accelerate your dating experiences in a positive direction very quickly when you're thinking, oh yeah, I need to be her safety. I need to be her dependable place. The more regulated she feels, the safer she feels with me, the better. The more I'm going to get to know the real her, the more I see the real rock, the more I know if the rock is for me or not for me. Do I need a different rock? I can make a better decision. We build more intimacy, full circle. This was supposed to be a 20-minute episode. I don't even know why we thought we could do that.
I mean,
Too much to say.
we have a lot to say on this. I think
could have been a masterclass. Literally.
I am actually going to do a dancing masterclass.
Good.
So don't you worry.
Stay tuned for Courtney.
Stay tuned. I think that is perfect because you won't overwhelm her energy if you are tuned into reading her. If you are aware of, my job is to be the one that that reaches back out, that reinitiates when she does go do her thing. It can be simple. It's not like you're like chasing her down. You really can just like open your hand and bring her back in. And
here I am. Would you like to dance again? That's all it is.
We put so much pressure on this, and I would say for the men who may struggle with knowing how to do this, if you're coming from more of kind of a wounded feminine space, this is going to feel really wobbly because you're looking to be stabilized. We have to be able to stabilize ourselves. The women do too. This is like the critical piece of dating. If you're not able to stabilize yourself, you are going to be reaching out in order to stabilize. And that is never going to be the connection point that leads anywhere healthy. It's going to be a lopsided dynamic, and you can see it in dancing. Like if someone is really new and not feeling comfortable dancing on their own, they're going to be like holding on for dear life. And you obviously can't be very like fluid and expressive when the other person is like holding on to you for dear life. And it feels that way as the feminine. Whoa. If you are reaching out to be stabilized and like reassured, like, does she like me? Does she like me? Does she like me? What about me? Do you like me?
Is she going to text me first?
Yeah.
Is she going to ask me on a date?
I need some reassurance. I get you need some reassurance. We both do. And if we can't give that to ourselves, we won't be able to show up as ourselves to the date. We will be showing up looking for reassurance, and we will be outsourcing something that we really need to be getting to offer to the date. We need to be able to give that in the date, not require it.
What a brilliant point.
Thank you.
And I would venture to say, you would say the same to women. The skill set we teach women is how to stabilize on their own so that they are not seeking that validation and stability in their partner. But the difference is when we're talking to men, when we're talking to the masculine, that is one of the things about the masculine that really draws the healthy feminine in, is if he is grounded and steady and stable on his own, it is the greenest. We're like, a land that is not earthquaking, that I can just sit on and and be with. Wow, we are twisted. We are twisted up today. We could edit that part out, but it just seems to be a theme of the episode.
We're just gonna leave it in there.
Got a little too explicit there.
We don't edit our stuff,
a steady ground to relax, right? Versus like an earthquaking. Oh, he's wobbly. I love that you brought that up. Yeah. Of course, if he's in his wounded feminine, he's actually probably going to gravitate toward more stable women. And then what that actually translates to is wounded feminine, and she's in her masculine. We want to be this. We want the masculine to be this steady place. And yes, she needs the skill set on her own, but man, is it attractive when you're around the man who can also stabilize you.
I'm just saying, you know what's actually interesting is because I would say the men who are looking for this type, that are reaching out for a little bit of stability, a little reassurance, need the skill set on their own first, because they actually want to feel sturdy. That's why they're reaching out. They don't have that skill set innately yet. They haven't integrated it. And once they do, and that's why I love working with men in this way, because once they do, things click. It's like the last 5% of the puzzle, I swear. It is not a lot. It is tiny incremental things, but once that shift happens, you open up an entirely new dating pool. You take off in your career. You're more assertive. You ask for what you need. You get what you need. You get to start thriving. I think this is what I teach for women too, but this is so important for men because men are supporting the women's stability, not the other way around. It's going to be the fastest way to clean up the polarity in the dating landscape is for men to integrate this empowered masculine energy that lets them be sturdy, stable. I'm coming for you. I'm here. I've got you. I want to dance with you. I'm fine dancing by myself, and you look awesome dancing by yourself, but it's so fun to do together. That's hot. Because when you're coming with that energy, exactly what happened in my whole body, like she's like, oh, the anticipation the fluttery, like it's different than butterflies in a trauma response kind of butterflies. It's like the tension is building,
it's like tiny little butterflies fluttering all around your whole body into your face, and you're like,
yes.
It's like
it is the physiology response you want to be giving.
It's like champagne in your body. That's what it
Yes,
feels like.
effervescence.
Mhm.
That is exactly it.
Wow. I feel like what just happened in this episode is we took us the smallest experience of the feminine and taught so much to the masculine about feminine and masculine energy from the small gap of the predate period.
Yes.
Like that, it explains so much about masculine, feminine, why the predate is so important. And it all boils down to follow-ups and reaching out again.
You're building the foundation. You only have this moment and you're only building the foundation. You don't know where it's going to go from here, and you don't have to. You can just focus on putting this brick right here next to this brick, and you will eventually build something really amazing, or decide, nope, that's not what I want to build. But either way, you have to have some sturdy base to work with, and you as the masculine get to provide the sturdy base. Like, talk about protector provider energy. You provide a sturdy base for that foundation of the relationship. It's a lucky man. That's all I'm going to say. The woman he ends up with is going to be the woman that you guys feel like is out of your league. She's in your league. This is just how you get her. Mm-hmm. If you hear nothing else, just hear that. She's in your league, and this is how you get her. You build the foundation like this.
Truly.
Am I wrong? Not wrong.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
The level in which his attractiveness increases when he becomes the consistent, pursuing, empowered masculine partner, the steady ground, he does the follow-ups, consistent with communication. It takes you, I don't like to use a number scale, but it's just the only analogy that works. If she's like level 7 attracted to him, she can become level 10 attracted to him like that because of how good it feels to be with him, because he is so stabilizing. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have said it better. In my own experience, client experience, friend experience, you watch men who are steady, consistent, empowered masculine jump 5 points. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think we did it. I think we dropped. I think this is done.
Yep. I feel complete.
You want to work with Courtney, obviously.
I'm excited. The program that I'm putting together for you guys, if this was helpful, the refresh of Rooted is going to be this even deeper. We're getting deep into the actual healing that it takes to build this skill set so that you can be the foundation for your relationship and let it keep expanding upward. You have the sky's the limit, and it's amazing. So I'm pretty proud of it. And
they're coming into a program where there's practices and homework and things to reflect on. And it's nice to have the structure of that. So I'm at A and I want to be at B. This is going to bring me there. Versus like, all right, I heard the episode. Let me try the things. And then you find yourself not able to stabilize. And then you think, I just can't do it. No, you can. But there's probably some stepping stones that are laid out for you piece by piece on how to do that. We give you guys an immense amount of content for free. Like I really feel like we are very generous with our work, that we've invested a lot to learn.
Yes.
And happily so. We love the show. It's a happily gifted thing. And there are truly just things we reserve for coaching and clients. There has to be our own line of, okay, this part I'm going to teach so I can nurture it in a really nuanced way. I'm sure that's what you're getting in Rooted, is your step-by-step, your stability, and your implementation support. Yep.
There are 7 critical steps that have to fall in line in order, and the implementation is key. I could tell you all day exactly what they are, and you could try them, and then as soon as you wobble, you'll go back to thinking, it's because I don't make enough money. It's because I'm not tall enough. It's because I'm not attractive enough. It's because I don't do blah, blah, blah. She's out of my league. Those are the thoughts that are going to get kicked back up as soon as you wobble. And the wobbles aren't the thing that we need to be worried about. It's how we respond after that. The wobbles are actually the best time for you to take inventory of where you need support. And that's where having support on deck when you're in the wobble is when things click. You move through things 10x the speed when you have someone walking that path with you that knows the next step, what's normal for this step, what you're likely to experience, and what step comes next, and says, hey, no, put your foot over here and you'll feel more stable. I'm telling you, I have had these like just download. This next program is going to be fire.
Coaching is so, I love the coaching. I mean, and you know, the industry as a whole, maybe like there's some leaks, but finding good coaches and mentors who are in integrity, truly it is like a 10x in your growth. It's amazing.
Yes.
I've been very lucky to work with amazing coaches, and it has fed me up like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also would say that as a woman being across from this particular type of man, I know what it feels like. I know the response that the woman is going to have, and I will share that with you. But more importantly, when you feel stable within yourself, you'll be able to smell this from a mile away. You're going to be picking different partners than you ever have before. I can promise that. Like 10 out of 10 times, they're like, you know what? I would have never asked her out because she was out of my league. That's one I hear a lot of times. Or I'm usually attracting women who create a little bit of drama, and that has been my history. And that stops. You're like, this gets to be so freaking easy. Dating gets to be so easy, and I feel so secure. This is so fun.
It is fun when you do the shift. And if you're a woman listening for whatever reason and you need help with that, I literally do the exact same thing, but for women. So,
and we want you guys to find each other.
Someday we'll have a For the Love of Men podcast meetup. It's going to happen. Because I feel like we're getting the best of each, all consciously healing, elevating, polarity-focused people need to meet each other and integrate. We shall see.
Yep.
Okay. You want more from Courtney? Courtney_Shand across the board. CourtneyShand.com. Go on there, fill out her form. If you're like, I heard about Rooted, I want to do it. Let's go. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Mine is Building Bree Coaching on Instagram, Building Bree on TikTok. We have a TikTok for the show, For the Love of Men podcast, or you can follow us on Instagram, the For the Love of Men podcast. Although I think that gets to change. I'll probably get to change soon.
Because we're trademarked.
We got trademarked. We're really excited about it.
We're official.
That's it. We'd love to know what you think. Feel free to write into the show. We'd love to do some anonymous Q&A episodes. Truly anonymous. We would not do that to you. So feel free to comment. And if you want it to be on the show, just let us know that I'm cool with this being answered on the show, because that we want your consent to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you next week.